Welcome back, Truth Seeker. For years, I've talked about zombies and Jesus, and seemingly the gematria joke with zombies and Jesus. I'm finally just getting around to seeing The Walking Dead, and you got to get a load of this. Before we watch this clip, a little gematria context. If you're new here, gematria is the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words. And it's based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with numerology. So what you're looking at is the gematria of Jesus, church, cross, zombie. You see how all four of these words have the connection to 34. Jesus equates to 34 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse. Z is 1 back to A is 26 with numerology applied to each letter. Church is 34 when you do the same thing with the regular alphabetic order. Cross is 34 when you run it in reverse. Zombie is 34 when you run it forwards. Now, we're watching season 1, episode 6, and it's the last episode of the first season. It's centered in Atlanta. This episode takes place in the CDC. If you've read my book, Number Games, you know what the CDC literally has to do with the Society of Jesus. And you might recall when the CDC was really front and center in the time of the Cooties-19 pandemic, where the faces of the pandemic, from Fauci to Trump to Cuomo to Newsom, etc., they were all Jesuit educated, all members of the Society of Jesus. But take a look at this scene right here. He's about to talk about the resurrection. Again, in the Bible, Jesus says the dead will come back to life. Kind of reminds you of zombies, right? But watch this language about the resurrection and then look at the 34. Look at what they do here. Watch this.
Scanning to second event.
Watch the time carefully.
The resurrection times vary wildly. We have reports of it happening in as little as 3 minutes.
Did you see how in that clip they have it at the very tail end of 33 hours? Real quick, one more time. The very tail end of 33 hours going right into 34. And think about the crucifixion of Jesus at 33, but how when the clip ends, you're on the 34-hour mark.
The resurrection times vary wildly. We have reports of it happening in as little as 3 minutes.
So, again, you got 34 hours up here. Or, yeah, 20 minutes, 7 seconds, and then fraction of a second. But anyway, the point is, when they're talking about resurrection, the 34 is on the screen, right? The 34. And you know who becomes a zombie in this this show in season 3, episode 4? The mother of the, well, I guess the wife, but what happens to her is she gives birth to a child. For the record, 34 is the 9th Fibonacci number, kind of like how a mother carries a child for 9 months. 34 is a Fibonacci number, which are said to be the numbers of God. In light of 34 being the 9th Fibonacci number, the word sun, S-U-N, is 9. And obviously in astrotheology, you know, a lot of people contend that Jesus is a metaphor for the sun. But yeah, even in season 3, episode 4, the mother, she dies giving birth. Her son has to shoot her in the head so that she doesn't become a zombie and resurrect. Messed up, but again, you learn this code of letters and numbers. You see how the news is scripted this way. You see how the shows and movies are scripted this way. And don't forget, this show, The Walking Dead, it debuted on Halloween, which is a day connected to the Society of Jesus in history, because it's the day Martin Luther penned the 95 Theses, bringing about the Jesuits, who are recognized by the Roman Catholic Church on the day leaving 95 days left in the year. Halloween also equals 95. But yeah, again, just the encoding of news, TV shows, movies. If you have this knowledge, you'll see through all of it. Again, Jesus says the dead will rise. Herschel, who comes in season 2, who's a doctor and a Christian man, he even has the rhetoric in the show, or the line. He says, Jesus did say the dead would rise, but I didn't think it would be like this. Yeah. Again, just the way they got to pay tribute to it. They got to put the numbers on the screen as he talks about how the zombies resurrect. And if you watch that scene, again, it goes from the very end of 33 into the 34, reminding of, again, Jesus' crucifixion at age 33 and then his resurrection. So we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Again, you learn this knowledge. I'm telling you, entertainment world is full of this stuff.